Hello and welcome, Aadhaar Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. The Delhi police has dismantled an illegal immigration network, apprehending 47 Bangladeshi nationals and 5 Indian collaborators. Coordinated raids took place in Delhi, Chennai and Vijaywada, which revealed how the nexus operated. The illegal immigrants were brought to India by agents that charged between 20,000 rupees to 25,000 rupees per person for an illegal entry. After crossing over illegally, the agents provided them with fake identity documents such as PAN cards and Aadhaar cards. The illegal Bangladeshis were then embedded in low-wage sectors. The police have successfully nabbed the kingpin of this network, identified as Miya. He allegedly came to India at the age of 4 with his father and settled in Simapuri. He then moved to Nagar before relocating to Chennai and trafficked Bangladeshi nationals into India for over a decade. According to police, the investigation revealed that Miya frequently crossed the border via West Bengal and Meghalaya. But that's not all. The 5 Indians involved have also been identified as Mohammad Anis, Ranjan Kumar Yadav, Rahisuddin Ali, Shabir and Lokman Ali. Each of them played a role in document forgery or logistics. Meanwhile, the police's crackdown on illegal immigration continues, with 100 more illegal Bangladeshis and their agents identified. Sumit Peer, senior political commentator, is joining us live on the broadcast. Pratim Bose, senior journalist, is live with us. Ellen Rao, former DCP Special Cell, is joining us live. Delhi Police. Professor Madhav Narapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, is also with us live now on the broadcast. Professor Narapat, let me begin with you first. What do you make of this modus operandi used and of course the details of this racket now that has been busted?
Well, I'd like to say, Uday, it's no surprise. You can count in the millions the number of illegal Bangladeshis who have come to India over the past few decades, in the millions. And frankly, what's going on in Bangladesh is indicative of the fact that an extremist mindset is very alive in Bangladesh. They haven't learned any lesson from what has been happening in Pakistan. On the other hand, now the new Bangladeshi government seems determined to go the way of Pakistan and become a failed state. So I think it's a very welcome operation that has been done. And I think, this is the very tip of the iceberg. It's a huge iceberg, and this is the tip of it. I think much more needs to be done. And frankly, those Bangladeshis who have become, got Aadhaar cards, PAN cards, even, a voting ID in some cases, we need to identify how they did it, who their facilitators were, and the whole network may be large, but it's worthwhile investigating and dismantling it in the interest of national security. So I'm very glad that this operation is taking place. And in my view, Uday, this needs to go much, much further, and this needs to continue until a significant part of this network, this facilitator network, is exposed. And once you do that, once you do this crackdown, then that deters other people from there from trying to make an illegal entry. So I think it's a very welcome news, and I think it needs to be followed up with much, much more. Thank you, Uday.
Right. Sumit P, let me bring you in here, Sumit, on, of course, this racket that has been busted. Is this just the tip of the iceberg, Sumit? Do you believe more such busts are needed? And what do you make, of course, of the way Miya in this case was trafficking people across the border, and also there were some Indians who were helping him?
Udayji, thank you very much for having me on your show. And I have to compliment your channel for picking up this important topic, because this is one of the most burning issues vis-a-vis national security. And this is after what has happened in Pahalgam. I think we are waiting for more disasters to happen. First of all, compliments to the team of Delhi police who did it. They deserve a big kudos for that. Now, coming to the topic, Udayji, look, it is much more than the tip of the iceberg. You see, I was going crazy just reading one fact. It takes just 20 se 25,000 rupees, $250 to get a citizenship of India with all your papers fudged. I mean, if that is the kind of nexus which has been operating, and if we see these sleeper cells, if we see the ruckus which is being created every day here and there in India, and somewhere down the line we see a Bangladeshi involvement. We see a Rohingya tha, ya Bangladeshi tha, and these people are those disposables which can be got anywhere to do a dharna. They can be put anywhere to block a road. They can be got anywhere to set a fire to a factory or to create a ruckus. That is why always, whenever there's a problem anywhere in India, you see a Bangladeshi here. Now, because when they enter India, they've given this 25,000 rupees, which is satire on our system, which is apathy in itself. Then these low-cost workers or these low-cost jihadis are available for you to cause ruckus anywhere in the country. Now, when government talked about the NRC, what did they say? नहीं नहीं पेपर नहीं दिखाएंगे, बेनिफिट सारे लेंगे, पेपर नहीं दिखाएंगे. Now, Uday, when you go in deep into this, you will understand पेपर दिखाने में क्या तकलीफ है. What was the problem? पेपर नहीं दिखाएंगे, NRC मत करो. That is the whole reason, because when you start doing a nationwide NRC, you will start identifying them. They might have fudged a Aadhaar card or a PAN card, but when you start going deep into it, they will not have any supporting documents. Now, this Miya has been operating so frequently. He's crossing the border from here, from there. He's bhai puri dukaan khol ke baitha. It is happening at an industrial scale. This is an industry, sir. This is not a scam. This is an industry. 25,000 do Bharat ki nagrikta lo. And by the virtue of that, you see how many of them are infiltrated here, and how many of them can you find? And you and me, when they come to work at our house or whatever, hum zyada se zyada bolenge Aadhaar card dekho, they'll have an Aadhaar card. So it's a very big security risk. If we don't want Pahalgam-like incidents to happen ever upward, if we don't want a situation when we are in very hostile situation with a neighbor and there is a big internal problem which is cropped up, I think NRC government has to really consider. They have to implement the NRC. If they can't implement it at the nation level, implement it at the state level. भैया जिसके पास पेपर नहीं है उसको बाहर भेज दो, because after this, what the revelations are here, I mean, it's mind-boggling. Do you think, Udayji, there's only one Chandniya who is doing it? Do you think there's only one group who is doing it? There'll be thousands of such groups which are operating, and see how many million people would have already come in. And how do you want to throw them out? Now the people will ask me, how do you want to throw them out? India has 1,300 islands. Some of the islands are bigger than Singapore, Prime Minister said, Honorable Prime Minister said. So you can keep them temporarily there and then see what to deport them from there. So if we don't want a national security risk and we have to get this menace, mass level deportation, NRC, and keeping them in those camps and then sending them to their respective countries is what is happening. Look at US. US is doing the mass level deportation, biggest in the mankind. If US can do it in the national interest, why can't we do it? Uday, bhai, aap dekhiye, there were 4 Pakistanis. As possibly we know the foreign terrorists are Pakistanis. One is Afghan or we don't know who are. 4 foreigners came to India. They killed 26 people in cold blood. Now, what is the potential if these people are manipulated and used in other way? Imagine the kind of ruckus, imagine the kind of national security risk they pose to the country, society, and the Indian economy. When we look at the collective goodness of 1.4 billion people, can we have these aliens here who can be potentially used by ISI, by Bangladeshi intelligence, even by Chinese intelligence at any point of time to cause ruckus? So the point is we have to get in a cracking mode. Pahalgam has taught us a lot of lessons. At times we have to take very difficult political decisions, but that is the need of the hour, and we have to let this thing go. कागज नहीं दिखाएंगे, भैया कागज तो दिखाने पड़ेंगे. That is has this message has to go loud and clear. Uday.
All right, Sumit Peer, in fact, stay with us. I want to quickly get in Pratim Bose as well. Pratim Bose, this is something, of course, that has been busted in Delhi, but these rackets are happening across the country, including in the state where you are based, Pratim Bose. How important are crackdowns like this one? And what do you make of the modus operandi adopted by such gangs?
First of all, this crackdown is not even the tip of the iceberg. It is the tip of something. It is well-known affairs. We have not taken much measures to ensure internal security, to protect things, because I don't want to expose people, so that is why I am not saying certain things, but they are just around me. People have come for, even 5 years ago, 2 years ago. There are families with wife and children, Indian citizen, and husband, Bangladeshi citizen. Okay. Now the problem is we have never given a thought to it. The primary root problem, first, you have to have a refugee act. You see, unless you have it, so from Bangladesh you cannot segregate between a Hindu and a non-Hindu. Okay, this segregation first has to be done, because who is coming to take the refugee as a refugee and who is not? Second problem is that we have never, while doing this PAN, while doing this Aadhaar. Now, I know that agencies have complained that there are many Aadhaars available to Bangladeshis, but some people in the offices, big offices, are not ready to accept that. The truth is, let me tell you, I have traveled extensively in border regions of Bangladesh, bordering West Bengal, Assam, and you will be surprised to see that people have Indian Aadhaars, Indian PANs, Indian voter IDs, plenty. Okay, so many people actually have even an Indian passport alongside their Bangladeshi passport. So you just neglected the whole system for years, and you have not worked up to it. I know right at this moment what we are seeing in the name of arresting some people. These are it doesn't make much sense to me. You have to really go in a very organized manner, and you have to cross check all these documents, get it done, and probably we could have done that in a decade or so. Over to you.
Yes. Ellen Rao, as far as, of course, now this crackdown is concerned, this next. Okay, I think we've lost that connection with Ellen Rao, unfortunately. But Professor Nalapat, let me quickly bring you in here now. Professor Nalapat, how are we going to continue this momentum now that the Delhi police, of course, has made in this case, but also we're learning that over other such illegal immigrants have been identified now. Is this something that should be sustained, according to you, Professor Nalapat?
In my view, I'm very happy that the channel is taking this up. There's no doubt it should be sustained. It's a very grave national security risk. And as our friend has just pointed out, it has severe consequences. Have been going on for some time. 20 years ago, I have written about it, that in Kolkata, it's easier for a Bangladeshi to get an Indian passport, an Aadhaar or PAN, or other documents, easier for a Bangladeshi than for a real Indian citizen. Of course, all these offices have been infiltrated by Bangladeshi immigrants who are pretending to be Indian. And their first business is to ensure that their fellow Bangladeshis get through. It's a very serious problem. There's no question about it. It's been going on for decades. And I think, I'm glad a start has been made, and I hope it's going to be continued, because this is a very, very grave threat to our national security, as has correctly been said by Sumit. Pahalgam and so many other incidents show that this kind of event can take place in India, and there are people who are planning that to try and avoid this prospect of India becoming the third largest economy and India becoming an investment destination. If we sign an FTA with Taiwan, for example, we'll be one of the major magnets for Taiwanese tech once the FTA is signed, because a lot of the tech needs imports from Taiwan, and for that, for ease of imports, they need an FTA. So I'd like to say, very frankly, that this is very, very significant. Anyway, a start has been made. The past is gone. We can't help it, but a start has been made, and the future has got to be marked by due diligence and a lot of activity on this front, because if we don't do that, then I can tell you, not only the succeeding generations are going to pay a steep price for the neglect that has been caused by people of a younger generation. So I would like to say very clearly, you're perfectly right today. This needs to be sustained over a period of time, enough to identify the main perpetrators and to teach them such a lesson that others are deterred from following in their footsteps. Thank you, Uday.
And is there something, unfortunately, Sumit, that there should be no politics over? Because this is an issue of national security. But unfortunately, politics, as you were saying earlier, too, always breaks out on such issues.
Uday, the problem is that some people were infiltrated in India under a design to change the demography of West Bengal, Assam, and other places. We know that. Now, now we expect, Prime Minister Modi is one of the most powerful prime ministers India has seen, and most resolute prime ministers. He can take toughest of political decisions. I think, the time has come when we have to kind of say, yes, NRC will be done. Whatever time, whenever time, that is debatable, but NRC has to be done. And the people who don't have enough documents or who don't have the legitimate documents and who are believed to be the aliens have to be sent to back to their countries or to those islands which are inhabited of India. Because problem is that today we are facing a multi-front war. We have hostilities with Bangladesh. You know how this Fazlur Rahman has been posturing. Now we have problems with China. We have there's a big ruckus going with Pakistan. You know that. There's no need to discuss that. Now China is talking possibly getting docking in Maldives. right? Then we have Turkey sending weapons to Pakistan. We have Azerbaijan sending weapons to Pakistan, and the list goes on and on and on. With those things, when we are fighting on such so many fronts, now can we have a situation wherein we have a situation where the people within the country, if used or manipulated or managed, can be used as an asset within you? और हिंदी में कहावत है उदय जी, किले का दरवाजा अंदर की तरफ खुलता है. You cannot, when you have to break a castle, the door opens inside. So you have to and always remember that किले का दरवाजा अंदर की तरफ खुलता है. And all the breaks which have happened and the history has taught us, somebody from inside opened the door. So that is what is the position of a country. If we now Pahalgam has given us enough reasons, has given us enough logic and enough stimulus that we should come and do it. If anybody is politically doing putting spanners into it, that it means that they are trying to help these aliens, they are trying to work against the interest of the India, they are trying to work against the nation of 1.4 billion people, which the nation should see, they should be exposed. And the most important thing is, now today I understand. I mean, I thought, it was happening, kuch chota mota hoga, tota hoga, but now today I understand it's happening at the industrial level, and that is why people were getting paranoid. They were simply getting bombastic when you talked of the NRC. Now I understand why NRC se takleef kyun hai, why NRC was such a problem. Why could you literally do the Shaheen Bagh and all the dramas for NRC? CA was never a problem. Basically, the NRC was the problem, because when you start doing the NRC, there are so many beans which will spell out. But looking at the situation we are, looking at the geopolitics of the things, looking at the things we are, we don't have to care for those politicians and political parties, because the national will be, we don't want another Pahalgam, we don't want another Pulwama, we don't want another Uri kind of a thing to happen. If we want to prevent them, we have to make sure we take toughest of the decisions, because if you ask police or army or everybody to patrol every nook and corner of India, that is not possible. But the easiest thing is to weed out those elements which can be potentially used to cause trouble here. And what happens to the election of India, Udayji, if they have so many people who come in here and they have a nakli Aadhaar card, PAN card? Do you think the mandate what we are getting is real? Do you think the mandate which has come in Bengal is real now? I have my doubts. I don't know what the mandate is. And what happens to the resources of our people if these people get the same facilities like you and me? What happens to my rights? What happens to my future generations' right? Now, and some of them have a very high birth rate. Eventually, their demography will permanently change. So we are getting a tumor into our brain. We are letting that tumor develop, and one day that tumor will become so big that it will swallow the whole brain. And you know what happens after that? Are we waiting for that to happen, or should we still go and take that tumor out? It will be a pain. You have to cut through the skull. There will be bandage sab lagega. But at the end of the day, you can't betray future generations. You can't give them a Bharat which is compromised, and you can't give them a Bharat which can be manipulated by all these nefarious elements at their whims and fancies to cause ruckus in here. And Madhav sir is right, when you're becoming the third biggest economy, what do you think China is going to let you become as it is? If we do this FTA with United States, Udayji, by 2030, our business with United States is $500 billion. And you know what is going to happen with the same thing? Exports might keep the tariffs aside. मैं tariffs को aside कर रहा हूँ. If the tariffs are even normal, the exports of China to US will decrease by 89%. These think tanks, these reports are out. So when it's a 500, it's a $500 billion and more on the table. Now, do you think China is going to let it go easily? Who is causing trouble in Kashmir? It is China through Pakistan. Who is causing trouble in Bangladesh? It is again China through Bangladesh. So we have to understand.
Right. Pratim Bose, but why is there politics always over such issues? You know, when these are issues of national security, policing, why does politics also erupt often? Pratim, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Pratim, that question was for you, if you heard it.
The first of all, why politics comes in? Because we are a weak state. Over the last 10 years, we have seen certain things, but we have not seen decisive things happening in these areas. We react. We are now talking about it. This momentum, there is no momentum. It will subside. Voter IDs. We all knew that voter IDs, these are not unique IDs. So who stopped the country from, converting it into a unique ID, taking up a project and doing that? India is not a poor country nowadays. It could have done it. It didn't. So what happened? You are getting loads of fake IDs created, using the same number. the same number you have in Punjab is used in Bengal or something that sort of. So your voter list is already inflated. I don't know by what percentage, but it is. Second, as I told you, that there are people many people, tens of thousands of people in Bangladesh who have Indian voter IDs. You just check with the border authorities before every election. There is a rush to come in, and after the election, there is a rush to go out. These are normal features, known features. Now, see the other side of the story. It's not that they stay in West Bengal mostly. They go out for work. Whenever some trawler, something happens, some mishap happens in Kerala, you will see some Bangladeshis died. So, these are arguments at our level. I know as a journalist, so with fellow journalists, they said that why are you stopping Bangladeshis from coming in? We need cheap labor. Well, it's an argument. No, the country has never acted. The country has never got its acts together. The country never paid adequate attention to internal security. We are doing roughshod jobs, something coming up, and we are just plugging that hole. We are far away from being a power. Sad to say that. Over to you.
All right, on that note, slipping into a short break, stay with NewsX, the news continues.